Get it? Get what I did?
You like thumb down, but up.
Oh,
in
dude.
Reverse. Oh yeah, because you're being lowered into the molten, to the foundry. You know now why I cry.
What's going on, Reject Nation? Greg Alba here.
And John Humphrey here.
Terminator news.
Oh.
Yay.
Oh, good.
So excited. Oh, God, I can barely keep my eyes open out of excitement right now.
Yeah.
Can't BS you guys, man. I'll BS you by saying the words BS. Big news today is Jimmy Cameron.
Jimmy C,
who is apparently the original team, excluding Kyle Reese, is getting back together for Terminator. It's the OG team.
Poor Michael Biehn.
But Edward Furlong and Michael Biehn are not in it, so it's not the OG team. Linda Hamilton will be returning in the new Terminator movie.
Yeah.
And there's a variety of quotes from Variety. This is supposed to be a standalone film that is a direct sequel to Terminator 2. I love these movies that do sequels that ignore the other installments. But I feel like James Cameron can get away with that because
maybe.
Terminator 1 and 2 were decently close together for, you know, for when there's a gap between 3, 4, and 5. Because 3 came out way later after T2. 3, 4, and 5, I think you can ignore that because I feel like we want to ignor that. So I feel like everybody can do that. Linda Hamilton returning. I find this fascinating because not long ago on Screen Junkies, their movie fight segment, there was someone who was talking about who should have their own TV show action role. And there was a person who pitched Linda Hamilton and everyone was arguing like, there's no way that would work, that's just ridiculous and stuff. And I actually really liked her pitch. Then I'm like looking at this quote from James Cameron. As meaningful as she was to gender and action stars everywhere back then, it's going to make a huge statement to have that seasoned warrior that she's become return. And then he goes on to say, there are 50-year-old, 60-year-old guys out there killing bad guys.
Liam Neeson.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. But there isn't an example of that for women. Pretty similar to what that lady was saying on Screen Junkies when she was pitching Linda Hamilton. I like that idea because when I think about older action heroes, I'm like, yeah, Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor, just Terminator 2. That's the only one I can think of that she's done. Terminator 2 or like a Michelle Yeoh. I feel like that would be, those were cool female old action stars.
Sigourney is another one. Or I mean, nowadays we have Charlize Theron, who's, you know, she's not older, but she's older than.
Well, I mean, like
starlets.
I mean, when you were like you did an action role that was monumental, and then down the road you return and become like an old action star. So I can see Linda Hamilton doing that, and a part of me is kind of excited. I'm not that excited. I want to be excited because Terminator 2. Some days. Every day out of the year, I will fluctuate my answer between what's my favorite movie, T2 or The Matrix. It always fluctuates. Some days it's T2, some days it's The Matrix. And recently, we saw T2 3D, and I'm like, this is just a perfect movie. This is perfect with like very minor nitpick flaws, but other than that, it's a pretty flawless film.
And she's pretty great in it. She's
amazeballs in that film. So I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but why not just let the franchise die?
Like the way Terminator's been going, this is the parachute to me. This is like, well, every one of these movies that's come out in the past, you know, several years, I've been like, okay, this is the one I'm excited for now, and if this doesn't go well, I don't know. And so they pulled that ripcord again, and I'm like, if they bring her back, oh, that could be cool, but God, I hope that this time you have a story that's worth telling.
And I feel like James Cameron has evolved a little more into businessman, filmmaker, and less grand storytelling filmmaker, you know? Like he's become like what Peter Jackson sort of is like in terms of he loves to experiment with his technology. He wants to make $1 billion at the box office, you know? That's James Cameron now. But when you watch a film like Terminator 2, it's very apparent it's supposed to end right here. So when I hear like, okay, he's getting involved, he's producing, he's not writing or directing this film. People are like so jacked that James Cameron's producing. And I'm like, that's cool. He's not writing or directing the film, guys. The other thing too is like, okay, one standalone movie I can get on board with. The fact that they're planning a trilogy is just kind of annoying to me.
One at a time, kids.
Yeah, like they're planning a whole overarching story. I'm like, dude, Terminator 2 is epic. It's epic, and they didn't need 3 movies to tell that one movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Terminator itself isn't even technically a successful trilogy, like really. You got these 2 movies everybody loves, and then a bunch of debatable things after that. And I'm like, we really want to like go gung-ho with a trilogy again after we've had 3 successfully worse, installments. Having James Cameron involved as an executive producer gives me about the same, like, I get some faith out of that. It doesn't
really,
but he backed Genesis,
Yeah,
pretty decently.
That's what I mean. He's a businessman. He's a businessman.
Yeah, because this almost reminds me of Jamie Lee Curtis and John Carpenter with Halloween, except there I'm like, all right, I can kind of see what you're getting at. And this I'm like, I don't know.
Halloween has that wiggle. It's Halloween. They've already got like 1 billion installments, and it's a ridiculous horror franchise.
Yeah, this is like, you've got 2 pretty great movies, and you've proven 3 times over you've not been able to recapture that magic.
Yeah, Arnold and Linda Hamilton, it's not like it's going to be the same chemistry. Whatever Arnold role is, like, I've heard speculations of what, James Cameron lets his thoughts out loud of what he thinks they might do with it. It might be the guy who did, like, there's a deleted scene from Terminator 3 where you see like, the T-800s are modeled after this scientist.
Sergeant William Candy.
Hi, I'm Chief Master Sergeant William Candy. I was honored to be selected by CRS in the ongoing effort to save American lives.
So they have the T-800, and like he said something. I'm like, that kind of sounds like that deleted scene from Terminator 3.
Yeah.
But then he might just be another T-800. But at the end of the day, the thing about Arnold is he's always a different T-800, because the T-800 in Terminator 2 that formed chemistry with Linda Hamilton is dead. And picking up after Terminator 2, I feel like they're forcing storytelling. I would be excited if James Cameron came out and was like, I actually was thinking about it, and I thought like this would be great. As opposed to, hey, now they got the rights back, let's try to create a story out of this, Yeah,
and I feel like that's happening more and more lately. It's like, I like the idea of bringing Linda Hamilton back and doing, like, older female badass story. I think that's cool. But yeah, having a worthwhile Terminator Skynet story is gonna be the linchpin of this. Nothing tells me that they have that. And Terminator 2, like you said, it takes it to the logical conclusion, so now what? Unless they exploit that arm in the gear or something.
Oh yeah, because he leaves the arm in the factory where they kill the T-1000 and Arnold commits suicide, sort of.
You know now why you cry.
I find this interesting, this announcement, especially after a couple weeks ago when he was kind of bashing Wonder Woman.
Yeah. I'll show you.
Yeah, I'll show you guys what strong female characters are.
Yeah. I'll come back and redefine feminism for you again.
He even referenced his creation of Sarah Connor talking ill of Wonder Woman. Like, well, look at what I did compared to what Wonder Woman was.
This is the one kind that works.
Yeah. None of this feels organic to me. That's probably my main gripe in terms of its storytelling.
Yeah.
And Terminator's something where I'm like, just stop already. You know what I don't like? Handing off batons. I'm not a fan of that. James Cameron said they're looking for some like 18-year-old-esque female, that the goal is like Arnold and Linda Hamilton will anchor the film, but the goal is to ultimately hand it off. I hate that whenever, I don't know one movie that successfully has done that. Indiana Jones 4. I know with like Die Hard 5, I think they wanted to kind of like hoping they could do that with Jai Courtney in some way. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
No, we're still trying to make it work, so we're just gonna keep trying until it does, and eventually it will. Passing the torch along, it's like, cool, but where are you gonna take it from here? Unless they pick a theme that the Terminator stories can tackle each time.
Yeah.
If they pick some definitive thing that goes, okay, this is what the Terminator franchise is now gonna be about. Because right now, like, it's just sort of, just a sci-fi action movie, like at least the later installments.
I think to make Terminator work, they have to alter the future timeline and have it be the humans lose. So they have to try to figure out a way where they can win. That's the only way I can see it working.
That's the struggle.
Because every Terminator movie, humans win, and the Terminators are trying to screw up the timeline, except for Salvation, which is just watching the story play out of how John Connor would win. They're trying to alter the timeline so the robots can win. So I feel like there has to be some major shift in the timeline. Okay, the humans definitely lose, so we need to figure out a way to win this war. That's the only way I could see it working, because I'm sick of them trying to prevent Judgment Day. I'm sick of the whole rehashing of the Terminator sends in Terminator back in time. I'm over it.
Yeah, this is another one of those franchises where I'm like, unless you have an idea that necessitates this, that makes this worthwhile and could live up to the potential, like none of the only thing I've heard positive about since Terminator 2 has been the Sarah Connor Chronicles, which, you know, shows that, I've never seen that show, so I don't know what the action is, I don't know what the story is about, but I believe you can take Sarah Connor forward. There doesn't seem to be anything special, any special reason to keep making Terminator other than we like watching Terminators punch, you know, people and watch people shoot Terminators.
I just feel like it's gonna be some crazy CGI fest.
Even James Cameron's involvement doesn't really excite me.
No, it doesn't reassure me one bit. Like, even if, as a producer, how creatively involved can he be? He's making like 18 Avatar films
and he's always like, this is the new thing, this is my thing, man.
Hey, if he's getting involved with Terminator, if he's like actively, creatively involved with Terminator, then I'm like, well, now that gets me worried more about the Avatar films, because his focus is being split in half. He's gonna have to focus on one or the other. And I'm glad Tim Miller made a great Deadpool film. Nothing of Deadpool made me go,
Terminator.
This guy could make a cool Terminator film, though.
Which he could, but, you know, I don't know where that's gonna come from.
There's nothing groundbreaking in Deadpool in terms of storytelling or action or whatever that makes you go like, yeah, he's the guy for Terminator.
And again, with these franchises, we've seen a bunch of times now, you can't just choose anybody.
I'd rather see Darren Aronofsky choose Terminator, honestly.
No offense to Tim Miller or anything like that. I liked what he did with Deadpool, but yeah, I'm like, pick a director who, like, you know, will bring a very strong, like, who proven they've had a grip on, you know, the craft at least.
Matt Reeves, he's the guy for everything. J.J. Abrams.
Matt Reeves could do.
Ryan Johnson. Anyone involved with Star Wars. Yeah. Well, you guys excited for Terminator returning? Cameron involved? Leave your comments below. If any of you hate us for not being excited, oh, just wait till it comes out. Yeah, I've done that for 3 freaking movies.
And Terminator Salvation was great. Genesis, probably the best one. Emilia Clarke, give me more. Give me more.
Give me more. Well, you guys can subscribe to The Real Rejects. Dat John Humphrey on Twitter and Instagram. Yay.
Hooray.
Click that notification bell. I'm so excited for Terminator. Patreon.com/TheRealRejects. Become a Patron eject today. Positivity is the key.